Hey y'all. I'm sitting on the front porch today while I go through some things with you on Commonlit. So if you hear traffic in the background, I'm sorry. Um, all right. So last week you read We Wear the Mask in Commonlit. And I wanted to talk to you about a few things because the average grade for that assignment was 61. Um, so I want to talk about central theme, central idea, theme. They're the same thing, okay? The difference is that theme is typically with fiction and central idea is typically with nonfiction. But both are supposed to tell you like what the overall message is, not the topic, but the message that the author is trying to send to you about the topic that they are writing about. Um, so it's kind of confusing here because they do the central theme instead of just theme. But, you know, the overall theme of the text is what they're asking you to find, the overall message. And here's something that I need to remind you. I sat and worked with one of our students last Thursday. She came in for tutoring. And just so you know, I think that tutoring could really help you. If you're struggling with these Common Lit assignments, then please come and see me and I will work through them with you one on one and really help you figure out where you messed up and what you can do better in the future. But the first thing that I want to show you is this little tool right here, and it's for highlighting or adding annotations. So if you click on that tool, when you're reading poetry, especially, but even when you're just reading a regular text, it is really important to read it once just to read it and see what it's saying, and twice to look for specific things. And then maybe even a third time when you're answering the questions, you might have to reread it again and make sure that you're getting it. So usually it's not, especially with poetry, but overall, it's not always just one and done. Like I've read it, I know what I'm doing. Most of the time, you have to go back and really look into it after you've read it the first time. That's just part of the process that all readers have to go through when they're really trying to comprehend something. So I know that sounds like a lot, but if you will read stuff more than once, you typically will get something different out of it every time. When I worked with a kid on Thursday on this poem, I read it 3 times with her, and each time we pulled out different stuff. So you're not alone when you have to do that. But anyway, back to the highlighting thing. So you can highlight anything in the text, okay? And you can not only just highlight it, so, oh, I need to pay attention to that, but you can also make yourself notes. So if you can't print something out and write on it, then you can use this tool to help you remember what you were thinking while you're reading that part, so that when you get to the questions, you can go back and see, oh, that's whenever they were referring to this. Okay. So we wear the mask that grins and lies. It hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. Okay. So first of all, what I'm going to highlight what the mask does. All right. And I'm going to type in this little box. Okay. Done. And it'll be right there. And then I'm going to look for more stuff that it does. Okay. It hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. So it hides and shades. And I'm just making myself notes so that I can remember what it is that I'm highlighting. Okay. All right, this debt, what is the debt? Well, if I click on this one, debt means an obligation or something that we have to do, that we pay to human guile. That means dishonest behavior. So it's saying that this is something that we feel like we have to do to pretend with others. Okay, this debt we pay to human guile. The debt is the fact that we wear masks. And we pay it because we feel like that everybody has to do this to fit in society, like the things that we've talked about with identity and this whole idea of the mask. Okay, so the things behind the mask are the torn and bleeding heart. So I'm going to highlight that. Okay, and this is what we are, what we are hiding. Okay. And then we smile. So this is the pretense or the way we pretend with mouth, a mouth with myriad subtleties. Okay. So what that means is, um, so we says may refer to the many expectations for respectful speech. So it's saying these are the expectations of the way that you're supposed to act. And so this is the like the mask that you put on. You're supposed to, when somebody says, "Are you having a good day?" or "Hey, how are you?" You say, "Fine, thank you." You don't say, "I'm having a crappy day, and let me tell you about all my problems." So that's what that's saying, is the way that we hide stuff because that's what society expects. All right. Why should the world be overwise? All right. So this has to do with the point that the author's trying to make. So author's point or message, which is going to be with the theme. All right. So I'm gonna put that there. Okay, why should we tell the world what's going on? All right, in counting all our tears and sighs. So I'm gonna put this again as what the mask hides. I don't know if you've ever really done annotations, but if I were doing this on paper, my notes would be a lot more detailed. Um, and that's how I figure out what's going on in a poem. That that's good work practice. That's not like just taking too much time and effort, but this is the way that you figure stuff out by having to tear it apart and figure out line by line what's going on. What mask hides? Leave that there. All right. Nay, let them only see us while we wear the mask. So again, the author is telling you what's the purpose of the mask and what we're supposed to be doing with this mask on our faces. So purpose of the mask. And it's also she's telling or he's sorry, Paul, he's telling you why you should wear it. Okay, that you should wear it to hide all your true emotions. All right, we smile, but oh, great Christ, our cries to thee from tortured souls arise. Okay, so this is what the mask hides. And I keep forgetting to hit the button there. What we hide. So the emotions that we hide. All right, we sing. So this is the pretend. Behind a smile. All right. But oh, the clay is vile. Okay, so let's look at that. All right, what does clay represent? Clay represents a road. And so you don't always know that, but if you look farther, it says, oh, the clay is vile. Well, I know that vile means bad, unpleasant, wicked, immoral, but I don't know what clay means. But if I read farther, it says, the clay is vile beneath our feet and long the mile. So if I know that we're on our feet and it has to do with miles, then the clay is probably a road and the clay is probably a road that we're walking on. All right. Well, I know that like literally the poet's not probably saying that we're walking down a road wearing a mask, but metaphorically, he's saying the journey that we're on, which is life, that it's hard, that it's not always pleasant, that it's sometimes wicked, sometimes it's terrible. So the journey, our life's journey, is not always easy. So I'm going to highlight this and put what it means. Our road, I got a text here. Our road in life might not be easy or pleasant, but and I'm going to put this here because I'm going to go on and read. But the world, let the world dream otherwise. We wear the mask, but hide your problems behind the mask. Okay, the front. The attitude that you put on. All right, so I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna highlight just stuff that has to do with the reason we wear the mask. Okay, so all right, mouth with myriad subtleties. I'm gonna highlight. Okay, this debt we pay to human guile. Remember, we said that society expects us to hide those feelings. So, right, and then here, why should the world be overwise? So why should we share with the world? Nay, let them only see us while we wear the mask. So keep it quiet. Don't tell them the truth. Okay? Let the world dream otherwise. We wear the mask. We smile. This is what we should do. But we hide these things. All right? So I'm going to go back and put the stuff that we hide. All right? We wear the mask that grins and lies. Wait, let me highlight that one. So we need to lie. All right? The things it hides. I'm going to shade those in a different color. I'm going to put those in green. Okay? Torn and bleeding hearts. We hide that. Don't tell that. Okay? We hide our tears and our sighs. Okay? And then our cries from tortured souls. We hide that. All right? So the journey is hard. We're going to hide that too. Don't tell them that. Okay? Because we need to grin and lie. We pretend. We act nice because that's what's expected of us. If you're following my cursor, you see what I'm saying. They only see what we show them. We don't tell them the truth. Okay? Let them think that everything's good. All right? So now I've got a pretty good idea of what this poem is talking about. So now I'm going to go to the questions. All right? The first one says, which of the following best describes a central theme of the text? Well, let's look at the possible answers. Identity comes from what we do and are, not what we look like. Does this say anything about our identity? Okay, it does talk about what we show the world, but it doesn't say anything about what we do and who we are. Okay, so I'm going to slash that one. A is not right. Sorry. All right, B says social pressure can turn independent people into just faces in the crowd. Well, I do know that this part over here says, like we have an obligation to be dishonest or to deceive others. But does the whole thing talk about social pressure? No, it doesn't. So I'm going to slash B as well. All right. Being sad and upset by tragedy is okay, and people should not hide it away. Well, didn't I just highlight all the stuff that says we should wear the mask and that we should pretend? So I realize that as I'm reading this, that it sounds kind of sarcastic or ironic. But what it's saying, on the literal surface is that you should hide it. You should not share all of your deep emotions to society. You shouldn't trust society with your feelings. So I'm going to say C is not right, which leaves me with D. All right. It says silence allows people to stay strong in difficult situations, even though it has consequences. Okay. So it talks about hiding. It talks about don't let the world know. They should not be overwise. Let them only see us when we wear the mask. We have to smile. Let the world think that everything's good. Let them dream otherwise. We wear the mask. All right. So all of that tells me that I should not tell the truth, which kind of goes with silence. And also, it does say that like there's consequences because it talks about our cries to thee from tortured souls arise, and that we have troubles in life, we have sorrows, but overall, it also tells us that we need to wear the mask. We don't need to tell it. All right, so I'm going to pick D as the answer, okay? It's not going to show me that that's the answer because this is the teacher's version, but this is the answer. D was the answer. Silence allows people to stay strong in difficult situations. So number 2 is just asking you to find textual evidence that fits that the best. Why we should wear masks, okay? All right, so the purpose of us wearing masks, the debt we pay to human guile. Well, yeah, I mean, it is the debt. But why should the world be overwise in counting all our tears and sighs? All right, so let's look at the third one. Oh, great Christ, our cries to thee from tortured souls arise. Well, that is true, but that doesn't tell us why. All right, we sing, but oh, the clay is vile beneath our feet. That one is true too. Like all of these things are here, but what is the one that fits the best? Let's look at what it wants you to do. Okay, so I said silence allows people to stay strong. That one was correct. Okay. Now, the thing about number 2, let me look at it again. Gotta go back. The thing about number 2 is that this one and this one kind of fit. All right. But why should the world be overwise in counting all our tears and sighs? Fits better with this idea that silence allows people to stay strong. So if that's the message that she's trying to send, then this supports why we should do it. Okay. Why should the world be overwise in counting all our tears and sighs? That we should not share those things with them. All right. So number 2 is supposed to be B. Oops. Number 3. All right. Why must the people wear the mask? All right. So why should we wear the mask? Does it say anything about, I've lost my highlighting. I'm sorry. Does it say anything about protecting our faces? It does not. All right. Should they wear the mask because they are told to by a larger society? All right. So here it does say that this is the human guile that we're supposed to or expected to do, but it doesn't say that society tells us we have to. It just says it's expected, and that's not what the whole thing says. All right. It's not to keep our identities secret. It's to keep emotions secret, struggles. All right. So this one fits the best. We wear the mask to hide the suffering. Okay. So, and then the next one says, the speaker says, we sing, but oh, the clay is vile beneath our feet and along the mile. Now, I've already given you this, and I'm sorry it disappeared, but we already talked about how the clay is the road beneath your feet, because if you look at this part, it tells you that there's some kind of road that you're walking on. All right, so let's find the one that fits that the best. The people dislike the journey, so they sing a happy song. No. People's lives are difficult, but they pretend. They do pretend, but that is not talking about the journey that they're on. People are on a gross and muddy road, but they still enjoy traveling together. Does it say anything about being together? No. All right. People have to travel a very long way, and the song helps them pass the time. No. All right. So I've said kind of no to all of them, but let's look back at B. People's lives are difficult, but they must pretend to feel joy when others can see them. All right. So if I'm just looking at these 2 lines, it's not B. But if I look at this other part right here, okay, and this part up here, then B fits it the best because it says we smile and let the world dream otherwise we wear the mask. So B actually fits it the best. All right. The lines itself, for these 2 lines right here, that we sing, but all the clay is vile beneath our feet and along the mile, fits the first part, but you have to look above and beneath it to see that B fits it the best for the overall answer. Okay. All right. So I hope that helps you a little bit more on understanding why those are the right answers. And the reason I really wanted to go over that with you also is because your assignments for this week, let me look here. I'm sorry. Tired of talking. Are these 3 right here. And if I look at them, I'm going to go to this one. And I look at the assessment questions. It talks about what words mean. Remember that when you're looking for specific words in a text, that you look at not just the word and the sentence at the end that it's in, but you also sometimes have to look at the sentence before it and the sentence after it. Okay, so make sure you do that. All right, and then this one right here, whatever you said foreseen meant, you need to find textual evidence, and that might be before or after it. Okay, but you have to get this answer right in order to find the right answer for this one. Okay. And then the central idea. We just talked about central idea and we wear the mask. Make sure that you're looking for the central idea or the theme. Same thing, except this is nonfiction. That you're looking through the whole text and which one fits overall. Now, this one you have to pick 2. So, which 2 are referred to or talked about the most throughout the entire text? Okay. Through the 2 different speakers interviews, which one relate most to what's being discussed? Okay. And then this one, all right, so what is the relationship between Mary Hill and Job? So she's the first interviewee, and then this one is the second one. So what do they have in common? How are they related? How are their ideas related? Any of those things. All right. And I can't remember if I gave you the the short answer. But if I did, then make sure that you not only answer the first question, but that you find textual evidence. You can copy and paste it and put it here, and then you need to explain how that textual evidence fits what you were saying. All right, and then let's go back to assignments in your class. The Scramble for Africa is the first one that you should do in these three. And if you've already watched my video that introduces this idea of imperialism and kind of gives you an overview, then you've watched two different videos about the Scramble for Africa. So you should have lots of information on this before you ever read it. So this should kind of be like a review. But to the questions, make sure you're looking for the central ideas. Again, this is asking you to pick two. Central idea is the themes. Like what are being discussed the most, and what point is the author trying to make about the Scramble for Africa, about these colonizers or imperialist countries that go in and try to snatch up all of the land in Africa. Okay, what point was trying to be made? All right. And then for this one, you have to find textual evidence that you need to look for textual evidence that supports what were King Leopold's ideas for the resources in the Congo. All right, so what was he going to do with the resources in the Congo? So you need to look for King Leopold. Like right there, I see him, and then you're going to read around him and figure out what he was trying to do. All right, number 3. All right, so you have to find phrases that support what King Leopold's ideas for the resources in Congo were. So you're again going to look for what was it talking about in the text about King Leopold? What was he trying to do? And which ones best serve or support what you chose here? Okay. Number 5, go to paragraph 7, and you're going to say, I missed that. I'm sorry. So you're looking for this word ascendancy in paragraph 7. So it would be around here. Okay. What does that word mean? And you need to look above and below the word. This whole paragraph you need to read to kind of really figure out what that word meant. And then here you're just picking what in this paragraph told you that. Okay. This one, the overall structure. Okay. Structure is different from theme. Structure means this author, Mike Kubik, all right, he put this information together in a certain way to give you a message, to share with you his ideas on the Scramble for Africa. All right. The way that he put it together, that's the structure of the text. All right. So what information did he give you first, second, third? What did he choose to include as far as details versus what did he not choose to include? All right. This has to do with the overall structure of the text. So that's what they're looking for there. And then this one, I don't think I gave you that one. But again, anytime you get a short answer response question, you need to address the question, provide your opinion about what the question is asking. Then you have to include some kind of textual evidence, and then you support or explain what that textual evidence had to do with what you're trying to say in order to answer the question. So there's 4 parts for every time you answer a short answer question. All right, and then one last assignment. Gonna go here. Okay, the last one was Andrew Jackson's speech to Congress on Indian removal. All right, so this one again is nonfiction, and it has to do with the Trail of Tears. And when you go to the assessment questions, okay, according to Jackson, whom will the removal of the Native Americans benefit? So you're looking for, he's trying to convince his readers that the removal of the Native Americans is going to benefit somebody. You have to figure out who it was. Okay, this one is, which of the following best describes the word choice he uses to describe the Native Americans? Okay, so how is he describing the Native Americans in order to prove that what he's doing is right? That's really what you're looking for. Okay. This one, you're finding textual evidence that supports how he describes the Native Americans. So you have to go back to the text. Again, when I talk to you about We Wear the Mask, you have to read the text more than once. You can't just guess based on your memory of what you think you read. You need to go find it. All right. And then the fifth one, I don't think I gave you this one either, but remember there's 4 parts every time you answer a short answer. So I hope that that helps you understand what you need to do with these. And again, if you find that you struggle on these when you get these grades back, please come in to me. If you're struggling when you read them before you ever submit them, come in on Thursday and I'll help you. And if not, then shoot me a message and let's talk about a tutoring time that you can get with me and we can look over what you did.